Coming up on Valley View News, amid the Israel-Hamas war, protests have continued to unfold across California. Plus, Kaiser Permanente and healthcare workers meet a tentative agreement following the recent multi-day strike. What it means for you. And Taylor Swift continues to climb to the top, how she's creating a strong brand in the movie business.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Najera.
And I'm Warren Lopez. It's been more than a week since terrorist group Hamas launched an attack on Israel. Still, the death toll continues to rise, with more than 24 Americans confirmed dead. Our Leah Villalpando is standing by in the Digital Media Center with the very latest on the conflict overseas. But we begin with the impact it's having here in California. On Los Angeles, protesters carrying Palestinian flags and signs against Israel marched down Wilshire Boulevard over the weekend. The pro-Palestinian supporters organized a rally which blocked traffic. Los Angeles Police Department surrounded the area to control the large crowds.
The National Students for Justice in Palestine chapter organized marches and rallies in support of their country. Pro-Palestine students at Sacramento State and UC Davis marched in support of what happened in Israel. UC Davis's chancellor said in a statement that they stand in support with Jewish and Muslim communities, and despite not agreeing with all students' perspectives, they do support their freedom of speech. The students say the events that unfolded in Israel will be the start of liberating Palestinians.
In other news, the deadline to sign bills has passed, and these are some of the laws Governor Newsom has vetoed. Free condoms for California high schoolers, cannabis cafes, and decriminalizing psychedelics are a few of the bills he rejected. He also vetoed a bill that would have required health plans to cover hearing aids and capped insulin co-payments at $35. As of last week, Newsom sent back 143, or 30%, of the bills lawmakers sent his way.
Governor Newsom has signed a bill requiring K-12 schools to have gender-neutral restrooms. Valley View News' Warren Lopez tells us how one school district will adapt to the changes.
Governor Newsom is signing a new law requiring K-12 schools across California to have gender-neutral restrooms by 2026. Senate Bill 760 is one of the many efforts from Newsom to protect the state's LGBTQ community.
Or if they're born female and identifying as male, either way, I could see them feeling uncomfortable.
Erin Wilson is a William S. Hart School District Board member. She says the inclusion will be beneficial for students, especially if they don't feel comfortable using gender-designated restrooms.
I would think it would be very comforting to them to know that they have a place that they can go.
This bill aims to help students within the LGBTQ community, especially trans students, feel more included and will add more diversity to schools. But there could be some concerns and some questions that may come up along the way. While the Hart District has yet to discuss the bill, Wilson says there could be financial difficulties to reach the requirement.
Where do the funds come from to be able to either build these bathrooms or convert existing bathrooms?
The bill addresses newer schools, but there's some concern for the city's existing campuses and where to place the new bathrooms.
New schools, new bathrooms, but the existing ones, there are going to be some concerns, such as that we also need to take into account handicapped needs.
Governor Newsom signed additional bills to bolster state protections for the LGBTQ community, including cultural training for teachers and staff. Reporting from Santa Clarita for Valley View News, I'm Warren Lopez. California schools are expected to have these gender-neutral bathrooms by 2026. In other news, the happiest place on Earth may now be considered one of the most expensive. Disneyland announced a rise in ticket prices, including Magic Key annual passes. The daily ticket for days when demand is highest has increased to $194, making it the most expensive. The cheapest ticket for a single-day visit on low-demand days at Disneyland and California Adventure will remain at $104. Multi-day tickets are also getting more expensive, making a 5-day ticket a total of $480. A Disney spokesperson said the park's new additions and attractions will be its money worth for visitors. But not all the magic is gone. Starting October 24th, kids ages from 3 to 9 will have their tickets as low as $50 per day. Those will be available for use in early 2024.
People say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but is it worth $1,000? Governor Newsom signed a bill that would bring speeding ticket cameras to LA, Long Beach, and Glendale. The law will allow 6 California cities to install a limited number of cameras in areas with a history of vehicle crashes. Each camera is in the pilot program, and it's designed to photograph and generate speeding tickets, which are mailed to offenders. Oakland, San Francisco, and San Jose are the other 3 cities where the program will be operated. Assemblywoman Laura Friedman says more than 4,300 Californians died in traffic collisions in 2021.
Some Ventura County homeowners say they're on alert after a mountain lion was caught on video roaming a Fillmore neighborhood. Valley View News' Daniel Herrera has more on the rare sighting, including Ring camera video of the feline walking around in someone's backyard.
A mountain lion caught on Ring footage in Fillmore has this homeowner saying it's
unbelievable.
Yvette Palomera was woken up at around 2 a.m. to a wild surprise. She says the mountain lion made its way from her backyard to the front of her home. Palomera's instant reaction:
I've never seen this before. Why is this happening? I actually sent the video to my boyfriend and then called the sheriff's office.
She says her Ring camera has never detected movement from an animal, but this situation was a first. This spot right here is where you can see the mountain lion in the Ring footage. Not only is it dangerous for people who come in contact with the wild cat, but it is also unsafe for the mountain lion.
You know, a lot of us use, unfortunately, we use pesticides in our around our property. That gets consumed by small animals. Mountain lions eat those small animals, and sometimes that poison can make its way all the way through the food chain.
These large predators play crossy road in real life. The dangers of an animal crossing busy lanes does not end well. But what is it that brings these large cats to neighborhoods?
It mainly has to do with drought conditions. You know, when we're in a drought and there's no water out there kind of in the mountain areas, things die, little animals aren't able to survive there.
If you see an animal out of its normal habitat, contact the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. I'm Daniel Herrera, Valley View News.
Thank you, Daniel. A man is now behind bars nearly a month after he robbed a Los Angeles Chinatown business and injured an employee. Cortland Thornton not only stole property from behind the counter, but he also assaulted a longtime clerk. Almost a month ago, Thornton struck the business and punched the woman in the face after she tried to stop him. She was hospitalized with injuries to her left eye. Police believe he was responsible for a separate robbery on the area, and now he's in the custody of authorities and is being held on $1 million bail.
Halloween is just around the corner, and a local city has banned the use of silly string and shaving cream. Valley View News' Ali Najera spoke with officials in Beverly Hills who say the ban aims to protect children during the spooky holiday.
Halloween is a time to celebrate, dress up, and eat candy. Above all, in the Beverly Hills area, it's about the children.
Halloween's all about kids and going out and trick-or-treating and getting some goodies, and hopefully more goodies than tricks.
The silly string and shaving cream ban in this city will help to put an end to said tricks. Todd Johnson, president and CEO of the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce, says the move will help keep kids safe on the spooky holiday.
And there was some incidents last year with silly string and where some kids got injured. So the council, in their wisdom, decided to take this and say, you know what, for 24 hours we're going to ban this. We want people to be able to go out and celebrate Halloween.
While the policy has been put into effect to make October 31st go as smoothly as possible, some Beverly Hills residents find it will be less exciting for the holiday. Iman Ali is one of those people who feels that this ban is just silly.
I guess they won't be able to have as much fun as they usually do. I think if it's an issue, then they should kind of just get kids or whoever's at risk to not be in that area.
True to what the Beverly Hills City Council believes, the silly string ban was implemented to create an enjoyable environment for the spooky holiday. Resident Marisha Saris thinks this policy will not change the quality of the 31st.
I'm imagining a bunch of kids with silly string and shaving cream, and, it seems innocent and all, but kind of borderline vandalism and, a pain to clean up.
This is the silly string that has been banned in Beverly Hills for the Halloween holiday. And it's a policy that doesn't seem to be lifting anytime soon. In Beverly Hills, I'm Najera, Valley View News. The ban will begin on Halloween Day at 6 a.m. On to this. Only time will tell. It sure did after Los Angeles ranked number 2 in the United States for the most high-end fake watches to be in circulation. A Watchfinder & Co. survey says that an estimated 23 million fake watches were in the U.S. market, and at least half of all luxury watches are counterfeit or fake. Experts say the fakes are not easy to spot with the naked eye, making at least 80% of these items to be counterfeit. Meanwhile, New York City took first place, and Chicago ticked right at number 3.
You better work. These students are definitely ready to at a new school in San Francisco, where the first drag school is set to open. The school will be launched by Stud Collective, one of the most iconic LGBTQ+ bars in the city, seen in these photos. Evening classes will be taught by drag queen experts, and curriculum will include lessons on drag performance, the history of drag, makeup 101, costuming, lip syncing, and marketing fundamentals. Applications are set to open soon to all genders, sexualities, and anyone over 21.
More to come on Valley View News. Our Leah Villalpando will join us with an update on the war in Israel. And the trailer for Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White's new movie has been released. We'll give you a look. Stay with us.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own, a place that I call home, this place that I call home.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. Another earthquake has hit Afghanistan. Leah Villalpando is in our digital media center with that story and more on international news. Leah?
Warren, Ali, that's right. The earthquake has left widespread devastation. More on that in just a few moments. We start with the Israel-Hamas war, where the situation in Gaza is worsening. There is a massive clean water and food shortage, and thousands of Palestinians are attempting to leave. The October 7th terrorist attacks by Hamas has already left at least 1,400 people dead, and that number is expected to rise. President Joe Biden calling it the worst massacre of Jewish people since the Holocaust. Now, Israel's military has announced that they are ready for the next stage of war, be it from the air, sea, or land. The United Nations Secretary is urging for humanitarian appeals. It's pleading for Hamas to release their hostages without conditions and for Israel to allow aid to be granted to the civilians of Gaza. After the attack, many family members here in the U.S. have yet to hear from their loved ones in Israel. Those in the U.S. have seen the gruesome photos very carefully in hopes of being able to distinguish their relatives. Some have made it their mission to get their families back by posting online, but others remain hopeless.
And we are very worried about my sister and my niece. My niece is she's not even 18. She's supposed to be celebrating her birthday on the 24th of this month, and we know that young women are being raped and injured.
An Illinois man is facing charges for murdering a 6-year-old boy and injuring a 32-year-old woman. 71-year-old Joseph Chuba is facing counts on first-degree and attempted first-degree murder, 2 counts of hate crime, and battery with a deadly weapon. The violence was motivated by the Israeli-Hamas war. The Chicago office of the Council on American Islamic Relations identified the victims as Palestinian Americans. The boy celebrated his birthday just 9 days ago. The U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken announced on Sunday that the Egyptian border crossing Gaza would reopen this week, allowing for the evacuation of civilians and foreign nationals. The U.S., Israel, Egypt, and the United Nations are all working together to assist the border with the crossings and bring humanitarian aid to Palestinian civilians. The U.S. had previously told its citizens in Gaza to move closer to the crossing in case the border reopened sooner. The Israel-Hamas war has affected many residents of Palestine and Israel, but migrant workers from Asia who have been working in Israel for many years are caught in the middle. Workers from Nepal, the Philippines, and Thailand have all been affected, with Thailand being one of the most significant sources of migrant labor, with up to 20,000 workers living in Israel. The labor minister of Thailand announced that up to 5,000 Thai workers are in the fighting zone, and families are now waiting to be reunited. Israeli authorities believe that up to 150 hostages are being held in Gaza, and it's not clear yet how many of those are foreign nationals. Now, on to this. A 6.3 earthquake struck Afghanistan on Sunday, making it the 4th quake of that magnitude to hit the country this week. The first earthquake hit on October 7th, and multiple aftershocks struck the country, taking the lives of over 2,000 people. According to UN officials, 90% of those deaths were women and children. CNN's Anna Corin spoke with Mother Shabibi, who lost her 2 daughters due to her house collapsing.
My children were buried under the wall, she explains. Everything is gone. Nothing remains for us.
Officials are calling for countries to help Afghanistan, with this earthquake being one of the deadliest the country has experienced in many years. The European Union is wagging their finger at X, better known as Twitter. A letter addressed to the social network's owner, Elon Musk, says X faces obligations regarding content moderation. The writer of the letter, a top European commissioner, says the way the company has handled the ongoing war between Hamas and Israel has raised doubts about its compliance. X could face billions in fines if Europe's Digital Service Act regulators find violations. In an exchange on X, Musk wrote, "Our policy is that everything is open source and transparent, an approach that I know the EU supports." Under the Act, companies must also move swiftly when officials highlight content that violates European laws. The European Commissioner said Musk is well aware of the reports on fake content and glorification of violence. He also said his team will remain at Musk's disposal to ensure DSA compliance. That's the very latest from the Digital Media Center. I'm Leah Villalpando. Back to you.
Thank you, Leah. A tentative agreement to increase wages and staffing levels has been reached by unions representing 85,000 healthcare workers and Kaiser Permanente. Minimum hourly wages are set to be $25 in California for healthcare workers and $23 in other states. The deal also includes a 21% wage increase for workers over 4 years, and the approval for this process is scheduled to start this week. The president of the SEIU, United Healthcare Workers West, tells CNN the deal's importance between the two parties.
Under this tentative agreement, can rightfully expect to make real economic progress in real terms, which is really important right now.
The agreement also sets protective terms around subcontracting and obtaining service from an outside supplier.
Ticket sellers and resellers, behold, if you made money from reselling tickets to concerts or sporting events this year, you will now face new scrutiny from the IRS. Valley View News' Tashi Rios has the details.
There was always a tax on reselling. This is just changing how reporting works.
Starting this 2023 tax year, the IRS is updating its taxing requirements when it comes to reselling tickets, requiring ticket platforms like Ticketmaster, StubHub, and others to report any sales over $600. Previously, the amount used to be at a much higher threshold of $20,000 with 200 transactions.
The sellers will be required to fill out this 1099-K form, which is considered the report of payments they received.
Since the threshold is smaller, they're going to start reporting more instead of people self-identifying how much tax they owe. And since you're going to have some of these third parties end up sending these tax statements, they don't know what the cost basis is.
The companies will be sending sellers a document regardless if they made profit off the transactions or not. Officials say the reporting changes may generate confusion among event and concert goers and who have bought and sold tickets this year.
Before, I felt comfortable buying tickets for my friends and then letting them pay me back for them. But when they pay me through PayPal or through whatever, now I'm getting taxed.
2023 has seen many sports fans and concert goers upset over resellers upcharging from face value. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour had an average face value of $250, but was sold by resellers for over $2,000.
Potentially, it'll curve the rate of resellers reselling these tickets for such a crazy price.
Ticketmaster has an FAQ section online dedicated to the 1099K form explaining how the tax process would work. The company also has a statement clarifying, in the case of resale tickets, listing prices are determined by the seller. Reporting from Los Angeles, California, I'm Tashi Rios.
Thank you, Tashi. The future of fashion is now. Adobe revealed a new interactive dress called Project Primrose at the Adobe Max conference.
Primrose allows me to refresh my look in a moment.
Christine Dierck modeled and presented the project that allowed her to rearrange moving patterns on the reflective dress and display the animated interactive garment. The gown is made of a flexible fabric that allows designers to create an endless number of style possibilities. Creators of the project say this type of technology can also work on furniture.
DVDs are one step closer to becoming a thing of the past. Best Buy will no longer sell DVDs after the 2023 holiday season ends. The company says that sales today are different than they were decades ago, and the change will bring more space to store other tech products that are higher in demand. With their exit, the top DVD sellers will now be Walmart, Amazon, and Target, with Walmart leading the market with a 45% control of DVD sales. Ali, that's too bad. That used to be one of my favorite stores to get movies every Halloween.
I still love collecting DVDs, so I'll have to stock up. Speaking of spooky season, M&M has no tricks, just treats this Halloween. The candy company Mars teamed up with GoPuff and announced a Halloween rescue squad. The squad will deliver free candies to those who fear being empty-handed when trick-or-treaters arrive at their doorstep. Customers can visit the Halloween Rescue Squad website to fill up their candy buckets on October 31st, starting at 12 a.m. Deliveries will be made in an hour. This source will operate for 1 day only.
When we come back, the MLB playoffs continue without LA teams. Who's the favorite in the journey to the World Series? Also, what we know so far about Britney Spears' new memoir. Stay with us.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
The Los Angeles Dodgers have once again suffered defeat in October. They fell short in the National League Division Series, allowing the Diamondbacks to move on to the NLCS against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies beat the number 1 seed, the Atlanta Braves, 3-1, and are looking to make it to the World Series once more. Over in the American League, the Baltimore Orioles were swept by the Texas Rangers, and the Houston Astros are once again moving on. The defending champs took care of the Minnesota Twins in 4 games and are now facing former Astros champion Max Scherzer.
Former LA Kings coach and ESPN analyst Barry Melrose will retire as he battles Parkinson's disease. One of his longtime friends made the announcement on TV last week, saying Melrose will be taking time away to focus on his health and spending time with his family. After winning the Stanley Cup in 1993, Melrose spent almost 3 decades with ESPN as an analyst and color commentator. Kings president called Melrose a tremendous leader and legend. He chose the Kings to win the Stanley Cup this hockey season.
Glenn Caron, the creator of the TV show Moonlighting, says actor Bruce Willis is not able to communicate while living with frontotemporal dementia. Willis starred in Moonlighting, which is now being streamed on Hulu. Caron says the actor is really happy the show can be available for people, even though he can't tell him that. The Die Hard star took a step back from acting back in March of 2022 after his diagnosis.
3-time Oscar nominee Piper Laurie has died at 91. She was one of the last surviving stars of Hollywood's golden age, making her film debut in 1950 at just 18 years old. The celebrated actress is best known for her roles in the series Twin Peaks and the 1976 horror film Carrie, which was her favorite role. She was nominated for 3 Oscars and won a Golden Globe and an Emmy. She is survived by her daughter, Anne Grace.
Taylor Swift is never going out of style.
Welcome to the Eras Tour!
The Grammy Award winner released her new concert movie this week called Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour. AMC is estimating the movie to make about $100 million during the opening week. It's already predicted to be the top-grossing concert movie of all time. The movie showcased Swift at her show at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles this past August. It's scheduled to play in over 3,800 theaters in North America and over 4,090 other countries. The Eras Tour movie is playing in theaters from Thursdays to Sundays for the next 3 weeks.
Oops, she did it again. Iconic pop star Britney Spears is only days away from the release of her memoir, The Woman in Me. Actress Michelle Williams is set to narrate it, while Spears herself will voice the book's introduction. According to the website, The Woman in Me serves as a brave and astonishingly moving story about freedom, fame, motherhood, survival, faith, and hope.
And speaking of books, New York Library got a surprise in the mail, a book that is 9 decades overdue. That's 90 years. A Virginia woman found a copy of Joseph Conrad's Youth in her stepfather's belongings. The due date? October 11, 1933. She contacted Larchmont Public Library and mailed it back to them, having to only pay $5 in late fees. One of the librarians say it is the most overdue book in the library's history, which opened back in 1926.
That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Ali Najera.
And I'm Warren Lopez. For stories any time of day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN. Thanks for watching.